O Lord, open our lips, and we will declare your praise. Let your ways be known upon the earth, your saving power among the nations. This morning we read from 2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 13 through to chapter 16 and verse 14. The background to this, of course, is that David's son Absalom has usurped his father. He was conspiring against his father, despite his father's generosity in not punishing him for the vengeful murder of his half-brother, letting him come back into the city. Absalom plotted against David and now has declared himself king and is marching towards Jerusalem. Because the army with Absalom is stronger than David's, David has to flee and retreat and run from Jerusalem. And we see in this tremendous loyalty. Some who gave up everything to follow David. They could have stayed with Absalom, sworn loyalty to him and lived a comfortable life, but instead choosing to take themselves into the wilderness, into an uncertain future, to stay loyal to David, the Lord's anointed. We can take a lesson from that whatever the cost, let's stay loyal to Jesus, the Lord's anointed. And so they marched out into the countryside, and when they got there was some conspiring. Simba seemed to act kindly towards David. We'll see why he did that later in the story. But then comes along this man Shimei, cursing David, calling out, throwing stones at him, shouting, get out, you murderer, you scoundrel. The Lord has repaid you for all the blood you shed in the household of Saul, in whose place you have reigned. And he curses him, throws mud at him, throws dirt at him, throws rocks at him, and is shouting this stuff at him all the time. David, the king, is still surrounded by hundreds of men. His palace guard is still with him. And one of them says, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over and cut off his head. And David says, no, let's continue on our journey. Let him curse, let him shout his insults. Maybe the Lord has inspired him to do it. David refused to be distracted by this man calling out insults at him. Let us also refuse to be distracted by the criticism and the shouts from the side. Let us keep on the road the Lord has called us to. David continued on and took his men out and gave them a place of safety. He left his spies in Jerusalem, and we'll see how this story unfolds. But at the moment it looks bleak for David. He has been thrown out of his kingdom, usurped by his own son, and many people seem to be turning against him, and he's left with this small loyal band. We'll see how the Lord delivers him and helps him in the coming episodes. Amen.